So what he's saying is if you don't complete the 75 days, that you are a liar, you are weak, and you can't break the patterns of weakness that you've created in your life. Like this is just setting yourself up for that guilt shame cycle spiral that you get thrown into every single time you quit a diet or you quote unquote fail a diet and you fall into the restrict binge cycle. And I'm here to tell you, you do not need to do this.
Welcome to Behind the Binge, the podcast where we bring forth much needed conversations about binge eating recovery and ditching diet culture. I'm your host, Marissa Kai-Millick, a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and binge eating coach. This is our space to dive into practical tips to heal from binge eating, challenge your diet culture beliefs, discuss the nuances of intuitive eating, and empower you to recover. Let's start exploring what's behind the binge.
Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you're doing well this week. I just announced my podcast on Instagram last Monday, which is today when I'm recording it. I'm so excited. So excited to finally share this publicly. I've been posting episodes over the past few weeks just to kind of get some in there so that people could listen to a few once I announced it. So now there's 3 episodes in there. This will be the 4th episode. And I was just so excited to announce it today. So thank you everyone for the support and leaving a review if you did. But today I wanted to get into more of an episode that's probably going to fire me up. I haven't done an episode like this yet, but I really have been wanting to. I want to do some episodes where I react to diet trends or react to some video on YouTube, stuff like that. I'm also going to be posting these on YouTube. So if you're watching this in the video form, hello, but I'm also going to be recording this on the podcast for my audio listeners. And I want to do some videos or some podcasts where I react to maybe some diet advice on the internet, anything like that. And so this is kind of the start of that. In saying that, this is completely candid and not planned. So when I used to film YouTube videos, which I'll still do here and then, now and then, I would write out somewhat of a script before the video so that I had all my information right. I knew what I was going to say, and I had maybe like resources or references to back up what I was saying. The reason I created this podcast was to have more of a casual platform to talk about these things without it taking as much time as my YouTube videos used to take. So I'm going to be doing this candidly, casually, and just sharing my opinions and my thoughts, mix my professional opinion mixed with my own personal opinions. So just kind of to let you all know the style of this before we get started. I also may need to give a disclaimer that who knows, this might get explicit if I get really pissed off at the stuff I'm going to read. But for the most part, I just want to share kind of the thoughts that come to my mind and my criticisms of these diet trends that are out there to hopefully debunk some things to keep you, your friends, your family members, your loved ones from doing something like this and completely ruining their relationship with food in their body. Things don't need to be so extreme, and this challenge especially that I'm going to show you today, but a lot of diet challenges and things on social media and on the internet are just so extreme, as if health is something that has to be so manipulated in order to like be your best self, and it's really not that complicated, and a lot of it honestly is outside of our control. So why are we trying so hard to be perfect in our attempt to create this most healthful life when perfection doesn't necessarily grant us quote unquote success on our health journey? I mean, somebody who eats 100% clean, moves their body every single day, manages their stress levels well, has a good social life, all of this stuff could still get cancer. I mean, it's just the reality of life, and it's very unfortunate, but a lot of it is outside of our control. Sure, we can do our best with what is within our control, but we also need to leave room for fun and flexibility because, not to be morbid, but we could die tomorrow. So if all of your attempts at health make your life more miserable, make you more frustrated, take all of your attention, makes you stressed out, then it's not healthy and it's not worth it. And so that's kind of what my mission is through going through these programs, is to hopefully debunk it, to have my voice in your head when you start to see these diet things in the media, because they're everywhere and we can't stop them. But all we can do is stay true to what we believe in and what works for us. And hopefully you listening, also feel that these diets are not the right thing for you. But if you're not quite there yet, I'm hoping this will get you some clarity by me sharing my personal and professional opinion on these things. So let's dive in. Quick disclaimer before we get started. My partner is working from home now, and we share a wall with his office and my office. And so you may hear a muffled male voice in the background. He's conducting some interviews right now, I think, and I just didn't want to wait until that was over to get started on this podcast. So we're starting imperfectly. It's fine. I'm a big fan of imperfect action. Okay, so the diet, he doesn't even call it a diet. The challenge, he doesn't even call it a challenge. The program, whatever it is that I want to talk about today, is something I discovered over the weekend. It's called 75 Hard. And when I found out about this over the weekend, first of all, everyone told me it's nothing new. And this was really the craze on TikTok over the summer, apparently. And I had no idea. Luckily, I'm very far removed from a lot of that world, even though it's still my world because I help people on the opposite side of it who have, you know, a disordered relationship with food in their body. But I'm so far removed from a lot of diet culture that I don't even see these things going around. But I discovered this on Saturday and it fired me up on my story. If you saw my Instagram, um, my binge nutritionist Instagram over the weekend, you saw my stories and it got shared a ton of time. It was like more views on that story than I've had in a very long time. Hopefully, with good meaning that people were sharing it with their loved ones who needed to hear it. But I went through kind of each rule of this program, somewhat debunking it and giving my criticism of it. But of course, I can't really go super in depth on my story. So that's what I wanted to do on this podcast today. I wanted to go through the rules of 75 Hard, what you have to do for this program and how it works, and tell you my opinion on it. So I signed up for it through the website. So this was created by somebody called Andy Frizella, and I was trying to look up who he was or what he does. And even in his about section on his website, it basically he just calls himself like an author and entrepreneur. That's pretty much all I could find about him. And so basically he has no credentials to be doing a program like this, but I digress. He created this, and the way he explains it is it's a transformative mental toughness program. He says if you're looking for a new fitness program or challenge, this is not it. I'm putting a question mark at the end of that statement because then what is it? He said this is a program that can change your life starting from the inside. Are there physical changes? Yes. But trust me when I say the physical changes you see on the outside are a fraction of the results you can earn by completing 75 Hard. The physical changes are a fraction of what you will see on the inside, because on the inside, you're going to be screaming, frustrated, miserable, irritable. I can't even, like, the list goes on and on. You're going to be miserable. I'm not like, there are a fraction of people who will do this program and feel that mental toughness because they probably thrive in a more militant type of program, which is fine. But that is a small percentage of people. Mass majority of people who are going to get on this are probably looking for some quick fix to their weight, to their body, to their health, whatever it might be. And this is so strict and crazy that it's going to make you absolutely insane. And not to mention, I don't know who has time for these rules that he's created. I'm already going off. I haven't even read the rules, but okay. He said, think of this as an Iron Man for your brain. All right, if we take that statement alone, how many people here feel like they could complete an Iron Man or want to? I feel like I probably could if I set out for it, but I don't want to. I have no desire to. And I don't think you have to do an Ironman to have optimal health or to feel your best or be your best at all. So if we think of it as an Ironman for your brain, I would say what percentage of people in the world want to and do complete an Ironman in comparison to how he's assuming that this could be for everybody to improve your life? I guess at the bottom, he does say this is not for everybody. So never mind. I take that back. But I would say if you really do think of this as an Ironman, most people would say, I'm out. I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. Or nor should you. Not that you can't because there's something wrong with you, just because that's not part of your values. And that's absolutely okay. And not something you need to value in order to live your best life. So he goes on to explain that this is a program to completely take control of your life in only 75 days. Okay. So let's get into the program. Okay, so it says 70. I'm just reading more on the website. It says 75 hard will show you how to 100 times the following traits in your life. What? What sentence? How to 100 times the following traits in your life. That's an interesting sentence. It says confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, self-belief, fortitude, grittiness. Grittiness? Is that a word? I'm Googling it. Maybe it is. Interesting. Oh yeah, it is a word. I've never heard that. That's a funny word to say. Okay, it's the strength of the mind that enables a person to endure pain or hardship. To endure pain or hardship? Oh my God. So he's saying that you're setting yourself up for pain and hardship. Oh Lord. Okay. So I think it's funny that he says that this is not about the outside physical changes, but it's about the inside. It's like a fraction, yet one of the rules is all about your physical changes. Okay, well, let's get into the rules, shall we? So I signed up for it. You get the rules for free if you just sign up on his website. I don't recommend. But then, of course, he plugs his book and his what is it called? Definitely not an audio book because he doesn't like those apparently. Um, his podcast. What are we doing right now? Podcast. And there's an app. So I guess it probably goes more in depth in his book and his podcast and his app, whatever, but I'm not going to dive into all that. I'm just going to go based off of the email that I was sent on how to get started. So he says, so what are these simple tasks that you have to do for the next 75 days? I think it's so funny he calls it simple, yet it's all about how hard it's going to be. I mean, I guess simple could mean hard, but anyways, I mean, they are simple, but they're loaded for sure. There's a lot behind them. All right, number 1, for 75 days, follow a diet. This can be the diet of your choice, but it must be a structured plan designed with a physical improvement in mind. See, that's what, like, he contradicts himself. He says this isn't about the physical changes, although there will be physical changes. But then like the very first rule and of others, like it's about actual physical improvement. This is about a physical improvement in mind, not like the betterness of your health. This is what I mean where like changes to your body does not necessarily equate health because you could be doing something so destructive to your body, yet have physical changes. Like you could be doing something that's wrong for your health, but results in weight loss, which is a lot of what these diet programs do. And so people equate that to health, but if that's pulling away from other areas of your life that promote health, like your mental well-being, your emotional health, your social health, your just sanity, then that's not healthy. So technically, he does not go into detail about what this diet has to be. I've read through other blog posts that it has to be something that restricts like processed foods and sugary foods, all that type of stuff. But in this one email that I've gotten, I've not been told what type of diet to do. But you have to do it for 75 days straight. Okay, so committing hard to something for 75 days leaves no room for flexibility in life. Is your life the same every single day for 75 days? Absolutely not. Things happen. Your car breaks down. Your kid gets sick. You get into a global pandemic and have to be quarantined for 3 months, which maybe quarantine would have been the right time to do this if you were going to, which I mean, there's never a right time to do this, but maybe then because your days were probably the exact same for at least 3 months straight, just like being home, having no social life and isolating yourself. That's probably the only time that this would probably be something conducive to the real world. But now that we're kind of coming out of that and just like in general in life, there's flexibility. Things change, things happen, and you have to be willing to go with the ebbs and flows of life, or you're going to get stuck in this all or nothing mentality that if you're not waking up at 6 a.m., reading 10 pages of a book, working out twice a day, following this diet plan, blah, 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 that you're not good enough or you're not healthy. That's BS. I just the black and white mentality of this is what gets people into that all or nothing mentality where they're either on the diet or they're off the diet. When they're off the diet, they're binging, they're overeating, they feel out of control and they feel like they have no control. Out of control and feeling like you have no control is the same thing, but I just said it twice. I'm a little redundant. Okay. So, all right, follow a diet for 75 days. That's the first rule. You already know how I feel about this. And why does a physical improvement have to be the determinant of a quote unquote good diet? Which, I could go on a whole nother podcast all about why I don't think even good and bad in a way of labeling a diet as good or bad is a good thing to be doing. But physical improvement is not health. It's just so much more than that. Okay. Second rule, let's just keep going. Second rule, you must complete 2 45-minute workouts. One of those workouts must be outdoors. This is every single day. Every day. 2 workouts a day, every single day for 75 days straight. If he was a real fitness instructor in general anyway, which I don't think he is, he would know that you have to take rest days. Strength and fitness, endurance, muscle growth, all of that is built on the rest days. You think it's built in the gym, it's not. It's built when you're resting and recovering. So if you work out every single day, not only every single day, but twice a day for 75 days, you are actually not going to be doing your body any benefit. You are going to be hurting yourself probably. I wouldn't be surprised if people didn't get injured from this. But also you're going to be wearing yourself out because not only are you probably super restricting yourself on whatever diet you choose, which means you're probably going to be under eating for 2 workouts, but you're also not going to be recovering. You're not going to be recovering by resting, and you're probably not going to be recovering by eating enough. And that is a fast track for eating up your muscles and giving yourself a injury. I don't think anyone, unless you are a professional or collegiate athlete, I don't think anyone should be doing 2 a days. Like that in and of itself is problematic for just the average person, but also who has time? Who has time for 2 45-minute workouts a day? Because it's not just the workout. You got to do the 45-minute workout. Then you got to hopefully eat a post-workout snack and then shower and get ready for whatever else is happening that day. That's a long time. You'd have to be waking up so early and staying up so late to be able to fit that in if you're somebody with a regular 9 to 5. Okay, and then the second part of this is one of those workouts has to be outdoors. Why? Who decided that A, workout is only worthy if it's 45 minutes twice a day, and B, that it only counts if one of them is outdoors? What changes between outdoors and indoors that your body doesn't recognize that movement is movement and movement feels good for it? I read a DM actually when I posted about this that somebody said like their friend did this and they lived in Maine and it was winter and she felt pressured to go do her second 45-minute workout outside and it'd be like 0 degrees Fahrenheit. What? It counts if it's inside. And this at the bottom it says zero compromise. So you're not going to tell someone who lives in Maine in the winter that you can't compromise, that they need to do their workout inside. There is nothing wrong with working out indoors. I don't remember the last time I did a workout outside. Like, I love my indoor gym workouts. I love just stretching in my office. Who decided this? It actually is crazy. Your movement, your workout counts if it's inside. It just, what changes it if it's outside? I guess maybe because of the mental benefits of being outside, but if it's 0 degrees or if it's 99 degrees, that's probably not a good time to be exploring outside. It's probably going to be harmful to your mental health because you're going to be stressed out about either how freezing you are or how hot you are. So I would definitely compromise on that one. All right, third one is absolutely no alcohol or cheat meals. Well, we all know how I feel about cheat meals. I think cheat meals are planned binges and it is moralizing food as, oh, this is bad, so it's a cheat. You really can't cheat on your body. Like every day is different and you're working with that. There's no cheating. It just is. You just are. But the alcohol part, okay, people can totally quote unquote challenge themselves to limit or eliminate their alcohol intake. Alcohol is a substance that is addictive for many, and it's not something you would approach the same way you would approach like binge eating, because binge eating is with food. Food is a necessity. in order to survive, whereas alcohol is not. And so removing alcohol, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. If that's something that you feel inclined to do, personally, I don't feel inclined to do that. But also, I have no problem if someone wants to do that in my program or when they're healing their relationship with food. That's not going to all of a sudden make you binge on alcohol when you're finished with it. So that's a totally different story. But so no alcohol, whatever. Cheat meals, okay, well, what happens when it's your best friend's birthday and someone makes a charcuterie board? Because I know those are super popular right now, or someone makes cupcakes and everyone's enjoying them except for you. Like, you're not gonna be flexible to enjoy that moment and that memory with your friends or your family for the sake of this like 75 hard. I don't think mental toughness is resisting that or is restricting those moments. I think mental toughness is understanding that life is flexible and not falling into these stupid diet culture black holes. That's what I think mental toughness is. The ability to say that the world of diet culture around me is wrong and not something that would support my best self. And I'm going to do what's right for me, which is enjoying this damn cupcake with my best friend because it's her birthday and I love her and I'm going to make a memory with her because food is part of that. That's mental toughness because it can be really hard to reject diet culture. And especially when the world around you is doing it, especially if multiple of your friends are maybe doing this, it can be hard to reject that. And I think that's mental toughness or grittiness or whatever he calls whatever that word is that I'm struggling with. Okay. Next one is take a progress picture every day. Isn't it funny how he says it's not about the physical benefits yet? You have to take a progress picture of your body every single day. Let's talk about that. It's so hypocritical, and it's just contradicts it contradicts everything that he's trying to say. I feel like he's trying to say this isn't a diet, this isn't a quick fix, this isn't about your body to like please people who understand that diet culture is bullshit and these quick fixes and things like that are bullshit. So he's trying to say, "Oh, this isn't like those other programs. This is different. It's not about your body." Yet the freaking fourth rule on the list is about taking a progress picture of your body every single day. LOL. I mean, the first one talks about physical improvement, quote unquote improvement. Um, so taking a progress picture every day sets yourself up for body obsession and like hyper fixation on the little things with your body. It's why even if somebody comes to me and they do want to lose weight, although that's not something that I work on people with, I support body autonomy. You can choose to do whatever you want. However, if you're somebody who is pursuing physical changes, taking progress pictures every single day or weighing yourself every single day is absolutely not something you can do. And I feel like most weight loss dietitians would support me on that because all that does is set yourself up for obsession and feeling like these small changes aren't enough and causing you to become more strict or more critical, have lower self-worth, have lower self-esteem. So he says on the website that this will help you increase your confidence and your self-esteem and your self-worth. But I feel like constantly looking in the mirror, which will include judgment, only sets yourself up for a lack of confidence, a lack of self-esteem, lack of self-worth, a lack of self-belief. And I also think it's interesting how it's about improving your confidence, yet there is so much emphasis on not messing up. I mean, apparently, if you mess up one day, you have to start over. I mean, that sets yourself up for shame and guilt, which is a recipe for lowering your self-confidence and your self-worth because you feel as though you're not good enough because you weren't able to complete this. It's just it really doesn't add up, right? It doesn't add up to me. So, taking a progress picture every single day is not something that I would obviously ever recommend to anybody. Sorry, my dog keeps shaking. I should take her collar off while I do this. Winnie, she's digging. Winnie, don't dig. Just chill. Listen to this to me rant about 75 hard. So yeah, taking a progress picture every single day, even if you are somebody who's on a physique journey, even though that's not something I would promote, that's not a good idea to do. All right. Next one, drink a gallon of water every day. What? Nobody listening to this right now, I can almost guarantee nobody listening to this right now needs to drink a gallon of water every single day. That is a lot of water. I would even argue to say like 2 liters is like maximum what I would get people to drink in a day, maybe a little more. It really depends on how tall you are, like how big you are, like all of this stuff. But a gallon of water is a lot, and you're likely going to be flushing out your electrolytes by doing that. If your pee is clear, that's actually not necessarily the best sign as much as diet culture likes to tell you that, because you're likely flushing out too much of your electrolytes. And if you're overhydrated, you're more likely to crave salty foods because your sodium levels are going to be really low. So you're more likely to set yourself up for more cravings by drinking too much water, which is funny because diet culture likes to tell you that when you have a craving to just drink water, you might just be thirsty, when you could be doing the total opposite and making the problem worse than it was to begin with. So, drinking a gallon of water every day, unless you're someone who has constant access to a bathroom and you can go whenever you want, is absolutely not a good idea. I literally drank like a 32-ounce bottle of water yesterday, and I think I peed like 3 times within 2 hours. Like, so I can't imagine what drinking a gallon of water a day would do for me. Absolutely not a good idea. Oh my God, could you imagine mothers, people who've had children? I've heard, I'm not a mother, never been pregnant, but I've heard that it makes it harder for you to hold your pee. So if you're drinking a gallon of water a day, that pressure in your bladder added with maybe your you being more susceptible to to peeing yourself. It's just not good. And also, why a gallon? Where did he get this? Tell me why you decided a gallon. Okay, last one. The last rule that he has on this list is read 10 pages of a book every single day. Audiobooks do not count. Speaking of water, I need to drink water. First of all, let's start with this. Why don't audiobooks count? That's my first question. I don't even have like an answer to that. I'm just like, why don't audiobooks count? I listen to audiobooks. So maybe I'm getting defensive here, but I have a really hard time reading fiction books because I get bored, or I fall asleep, and I feel like sometimes it takes a while to get to like the bulk of the book because there's a lot of storytelling in it, and I get it. But why wouldn't audiobooks count if you're still gaining the same knowledge that you would be if you sat down to read it? For me, a person with ADHD and not a lot of time, I listen to audiobooks while I'm cleaning, and I gain a lot of knowledge from them. And it's always the fiction books that I listen to while I'm cleaning or doing something like that. And then personally, I enjoy reading. Oh wait, fiction. No, nonfiction. Oh my gosh. Nonfiction would be true books based on real things. I have to do this. It's hard to remember the difference between fiction and nonfiction because it seems like it would be the opposite, like nonfiction, not real. Nope, nonfiction is real and fiction is not real. So when I'm cleaning, I like to listen to fiction books, like self-help books, things like that, self-development, business development, all of that, because I'm doing something, I'm cleaning, I have time, I can absorb the knowledge while I'm doing that. But I enjoy reading fiction books. I just finished reading Where the Crawdads Sing, such a good book. And by doing that, I am still getting the benefit of reading and, you know, working on my brain. Like it's like working out your brain. I just don't understand why audiobooks don't count. And why does it have to be 10 pages? I'll be honest, I'm not a good reader, mostly because of my ADHD. And reading 10 pages of a book is a lot for me, especially if it is a nonfiction book. You can like hear me pause to think, okay, nonfiction or fiction. Like I have to do some mental gymnastics while I'm trying to think of which word to use. But yeah, why does it have to be 10 days? Who has time for this? First of all, you're working out twice a day, 45 minutes, and you have to read 10 pages of a book. Who has time for this truly? And it says you have until you go to sleep to complete the day. If you fail, you must start over on day one. Like, tell me, like, what if you don't have time for one of these things? Now you have to start over. You're going to be doing this for the rest of your life if you don't give yourself the flexibility to not read some days, or not drink a gallon of water some days, or not do one of your 2 45-minute workouts. Like, goodness. I just can't believe the amount of people who don't see this and have major red flags go up, which I give you a lot of compassion if this didn't flag you, because diet culture is really, really deceptive, and it's really good at convincing us that this is what we need to do and what is the best thing for you to do, it's so good at it. And so I give you so much empathy if you did fall into this, but I want you to know that the second I got this, I didn't have to have a single second thought. This is disordered eating wrapped up in a pretty bow, ready to go, handed to you. If you do not have a problem with your relationship with food, this is a fast track to get there. It is not flexible, it is not nuanced, it is overgeneralized, and it is all or nothing. Actually, like, it's actually all or nothing, and he probably would be like, "It's not, all or nothing," but, like, the fact that it's you must start over on day 1 if you fail, like, literally proves that it's all or nothing. Like, you do it all 100% or you don't do it at all. That's nuts. And I did get a DM from somebody who was like, "I did it with, like, more flexibility and, like, it was good for me and it did increase my healthy habits." Great. Like, seriously, great for you. If you found flexibility in this and it improved your healthful behaviors that you wanted to do in your life, that's awesome. I'm all about taking steps to increase healthful behaviors in your life that you enjoy, but you have to be flexible. So if you can find flexibility in that, sure, whatever. But this has nothing to do with flexibility. And it's so funny at the bottom, he says, "Sounds easy, huh?" But what? No, none of that sounds easy. It's funny. He says, "You're about to embark on the hardest 75 days of your life." And then after he reads, after all of the rules come up, it says, "Sounds easy, huh?" What? Like, what? No, it doesn't sound easy. It sounds horrible. The way he describes this challenge and talks about your quote unquote faults of other diets is so manipulative and so kind of predatory. He's like, "You will not be tempted by me. You will be tempted by yourself. You will be tempted to try to change things a little to suit you and your quote special lifestyle. But that right there is the root of every problem in your life." I'm sorry, what? Everyone has a quote special lifestyle because everyone is different and everyone has a different life. I would like you to sit down with a single mom of 4 and tell her that her quote problems in her life are just a problem, are just herself and her own discipline. It makes me honestly mad, like, now that I'm reading more about, like, the email that he sends you. It's like saying that you wanting to be flexible so that, like, you can do the things in life that you enjoy is the root of every problem in your life is absolutely manipulative and crazy. Jeez Louise. Okay. So he says the next 75 days is a chance to prove to yourself that you're not a liar, you're not weak, and you truly have what it takes to break the patterns of weakness and compromises you've built over the course of your entire life. So what he's saying is if you don't complete the 75 days, that you are a liar, you are weak, and you can't break the patterns of weakness that you've created in your life. Like, this is just setting yourself up for that guilt shame cycle spiral that you get thrown into every single time you quit a diet or you quote unquote fail a diet and you fall into the restrict binge cycle. And I'm here to tell you, you do not need to do this. And doing this is likely going to set you up for more mental destruction and destruction with your relationship with food in your body than anything. And if you want to pursue health and you want to pursue a change in your lifestyle, you absolutely can do that. And the best way to do that is to find balance and flexibility in what works for you. And a program like this has no flexibility. And to put the blame on your own self-discipline is just irresponsible of this creator who has no credentials to be talking about this anyway. It's all about the body here, and if it was really about your mental health, maybe instead of taking progress pictures every day, you would maybe journal every day to see how the day's going, how you're feeling, what's working, what's not working. But no, it's about taking pictures of your body. It's focused on your body. It's just same diet, different name, different face on it. But if it walks like a diet, it moves like a diet, it's a diet. All right. To kind of close this, I mean, I just kind of went off a little bit. I'm really sorry I got fired up, but all right. Oh, the way I wanted to wrap this up was I wanted to read some DMs that I got from people who did this, or they know people who did this and what they had to say. So I took some screenshots. So, yeah, one person said, "Have you checked out the phases for post 75 hard? Although shorter, they're worse because it's the same plus more, which you factor in life and working 8 hours a day. It's almost impossible to squeeze in." Exactly. That's crazy that it's worse. Somebody said, "Well, almost 1 year ago, I started my eating disorder and mental problems because of this challenge. Now I'm trying to recover." That's so sad. Like, it seriously breaks my heart to hear that, and you don't need to do it. I remember when I was in my disordered eating, I have a video diary. It's on my Instagram at binge.nutritionist. It's under the highlight my story, and I say, "If you've never been on a diet, don't do it because you'll mess yourself up," and I'm, like, crying because you really don't need this. You don't need this to live a healthful life. This is going to set yourself up for failure. The only people who can probably complete this are those who enjoy and thrive on very militant settings where they are super challenging, and that's totally fine for a small percentage of people, but that is not for everybody, not for the average person. My sister-in-law does this, and it makes me sad because see the obsession in her life, and I don't know how to talk to her about it. Oh, I'm so sorry for you. If someone in your life is doing this, I I know how hard it must be to want to tell them that they don't need to do this, but I would encourage you to just be there for them when they come to you and tell you that they're struggling with it, and don't, make it like an "I told you so" type of situation. Just empathize and say, "I feel for you, but I want you to know you don't have to do this, and we can maybe do some other things together that are a little more flexible," or, whatever it is that they're struggling with, encouraging them to take a step back and reevaluate if that's the right thing for them, because everybody is different, and you're not you know, a victim to your own self-discipline and your inability to stick with like, what? No, you just are human, and humans are complicated and complex and all very, very different. So, okay, this next one says, "I used to follow an Instagrammer who did this. She ended up gaining much of the weight back and was embarrassed to post pictures." Ugh, I got a lot of these. I think there was another one. Um, one of my favorite YouTubers has done this twice and has regained all the weight back twice. It's really sad to watch actually because now she thinks it's because she doesn't have the willpower. It just creates a terrible relationship with oneself. I'm so over this. We need to build grit and perseverance. We do that when we walk in this world every day. Life's hard enough as it is. Oh, that's a great message. Thank you so much for sharing that. Ugh, that's so true though, right? Like I was trying to say, I think you have more strength by standing up to the world around us and saying, "That's not for me. I run this life and I'm going to disappoint you all while I do it because it's my life and I can do what I want." I think that takes more strength than just following a program for 75 days. Okay. Someone said, "I saw this at the start of the pandemic last year and jumped to do this. But just after 15 days, I said, enough. I couldn't care less of the progress pics. There is one more rule. If you miss even one day, you start over." Yeah, slowly I've changed my mindset about diet culture. That's so great. Someone said, I'm in pelvic floor PT, and my therapist actually told me I was drinking too much water, and I'm not drinking anywhere near that much. Yup. Have fun being on the toilet all day. Someone said, "I did an intense competition prep diet challenge at the gym for 60 days. Saw great results, but I had the worst binge of my life for the following months. I was so unhealthy and mentally unhappy afterwards and promised myself I would never deprive my body so much like that again. This is why I follow you." Aw, thank you. I'm so sorry you had to go through that or felt like you needed to go through that for whatever reason that was. But I'm really glad that you're working on coming out on the other side of that, but that's exactly right. You do these things for a short period of time, and sure, you can get through it, 60 days, 75 days, whatever, but what's on the other side? On the other side is food, body obsession, and binge eating for a lot of people. I won't say it's everybody. One of the people I follow did this, tons of followers on her page. She was so proud of herself for doing this and following through with it. She went to do it again because she said it was the best thing she ever did for herself. She quit after a few days and promptly gained 15 pounds. She has since posted pics of herself eating, drinking, all the things, saying how she needs to start a program again. Used to beat myself up because I always felt like a failure. Like, why can't I commit to a program like that? Now I just think it's not sustainable and you can really hurt yourself living this way for 75 days straight. Yeah, exactly. Like, even if you can get through the 75 days and this girl apparently was going on to do it again, what, like, how long is that going to last for you? because she ended up gaining the weight back because especially depending on what diet you pick, you're going to mess up your metabolism and you're going to mess up your relationship with food to where you're more likely to feel out of control and binge eat at the end of it, increasing your weight because of how much you're eating and because of your lowered metabolism. Like it just becomes a cycle of weight cycling. And is that really better than just living in your body and pursuing healthful behaviors and not actually making it about your body? Someone said, I had a friend do this and it put her marriage at risk. She was losing her mind about having to do this. It really became an obsession. Oh, see, he was talking about this is going to improve your relationships. Absolutely not. This is going to isolate you because guess what relationships are built on? Fun things like going out to eat or making dinner together. And to do something probably so different than maybe what your partner is doing, you're going to be limiting the amount of quality time you can spend with that person because connection is food. It just is. It's the way our culture is. It's the way a lot of cultures are. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's why having family dinners together, having going out to eat with your friends, your family, your partner, whoever is part of connectedness and community and relationships. Food is part of that. Okay. Let's do like one more. I watched someone I follow on Instagram do it. She was absolutely miserable. She stayed up late at night if she hadn't gotten her task done earlier that day. This person has 4 young children and pushed herself to complete the program. It was so disordered. I think she cried a few times on camera. It was this self-induced torture that tells you that you're weak if you can't do it. I watched her so happy that I no longer felt like I had to do these challenges anymore. Seriously. Someone on IG I follow did this a while back. She posted about it daily, made it about 10 days, stopped and deleted all of her posts. Sounded like pure hell. Okay, that's all I'm going to share of the DMs that I got, but I hope from hearing those you realize no, don't do it. It's not a good idea. A program like this sets yourself up for the all or nothing mindset and black and white thinking that gets you stuck into the diet binge cycle where you're all in on one thing for maybe 75 days and then you're all off of it, spiraling, unsure how to maintain. It's why maintenance with weight loss programs is the hardest part. It's because most of the time the diet wasn't sustainable to begin with. So, what's the alternative? The alternative is defining what health is to you first and foremost and recognizing that health is multidimensional. It's not just food, it's not just your body, it's not just your exercise, it is social, mental, emotional health as well. And so you have to put that into consideration. Second, figure out what behaviors you enjoy that align with that definition of health that you've created for yourself and just figure out how to do more of that. It doesn't have to be freaking twice a day workouts. It can be, oh, I want to move my body more. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to, try out a new fitness program in my community and do it 2 times a week. This all or nothing mindset really sets us up for burnout, especially. And I can't imagine doing my workouts twice a day and not getting bored with them or not burning out. Oh my goodness. And then the third is finding balance and flexibility. You're going to go on a road trip. You're going to go camping. You're going to travel, whatever you're going to do post pandemic. And there's going to have to be flexibility in that. And if everything is about sticking to a program like that, you're going to have a really hard time doing other things except for this program. And is that really what you value in life? Is 75 hard in your top 5 values of what you want to fill your life with? I doubt it. I bet you want to fill it with, I don't know, compassion, vulnerability, authenticity. I hear a lot, justice, working on those things rather than putting all of your energy into a program like this is going to make you happier and honestly healthier in the long run. So those are my tips for you. If you considered going on this and you're like, well, now what do I do? I want you to know that nothing all or nothing like this, nothing with strict rules like this is sustainable or is worth it in the long run. I've done them all. I swear it's a new program, different name, but the exact same thing that I've seen over the whenever I was in my diet binge spiral for like 6 years. So just know that it's not worth it. It's not what you need to do. And there are other ways. I would love to help you with that. Follow me on Instagram at binge.nutritionist or my podcast Instagram behind.the.binge. So behind the binge. And we can talk about it over there, or hopefully you feel inspired by my post to find balance and flexibility rather than strict rigidity and restriction. Okay. I hope I covered everything. I had no plan for this. Like I said, I just wanted to be able to let this out and express to you how I was feeling about this 75 hard after I discovered it. And just know if you're going through this right now, I feel for you. I'm here for you. It's not your fault for falling victim to this or for quote unquote failing at this. I guarantee it's not your fault. And that's not just, a kind of victim type mindset. No, it's the truth. And life is so, so, so much more than what you're feeling now. And I want to help you realize that and get your energy and get your life back away from these diets. So thank you guys so much for listening or watching, depending on where you're viewing this, to this podcast today. I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed my feisty side where I get really fired up about diet culture. I'm so happy I have an outlet to talk about this BS again. And I hope you don't mind me swearing here and there because it's really hard not to when you see this stuff. Like, goodness, it's literally my worst nightmare. So, all right, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to let me know on Instagram or give me a review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. And I will see you next Monday. Bye, everyone.